Hello and welcome to Infotainment. My name is Dennis Gleason. I'll be your host for the next 58.5 minutes, and welcome to our program. As I said, my name is Dennis Gleason and I am a producer. I've been here with TVC TV for a while, PCM and other areas, and today I have some exciting guests I'd like to talk to you about, or talk with you about different things going on in the entertainment world and the nonprofit world at the same time. You think that's complicated? Wait till we get there. First, we have with us our two guests we'll be talking with the first part of the show. We have to my direct right, we have Tom McFadden of the OMPA, and then we have Marianne Brunner from the Oregon Food Bank. Welcome.
Thanks.
So the exciting part about why these two fine folks are with us today is understanding what they do and what they do related to entertainment. So first we're going to start off talking a little bit with Marianne. And Marianne, you are the Community Fundraising Coordinator for the Oregon Food Bank. So tell me, what does that do? It sounds complicated.
Well, we reach out to folks in our community and we talk with them about engaging in events, what we classify as our partner events. A little bit different than your average food or fund drive where folks might have a party and decide that they're going to raise food and funds for the food bank. But it's actually a collection of individuals in a particular industry that come together and produce an event or an experience that gathers hopefully new donors together to have a great time and to raise funds for the food bank.
Okay.
We already do a number of different events during the year. We engage with our Governor's State Employee Food Drive, which is just ramping up now. We have just finished our Project Second Wind event with the Portland Public Schools and Washington County School Districts.
Okay.
We're getting ready to launch Construction, which is an event that's going to be happening down in Pioneer Mall next week, as a matter of fact, where architects in the Portland community will be building structures out of cans.
That sounds like fun.
It's a great event. I would encourage anybody to go down to the Pioneer Mall the week of April 7th and view those.
Okay.
It's amazing what they make out of food. And then we're the recipients of that food at the end of the event. And then we have our largest food drive coming up after that with the letter carriers, where we see over 1 million pounds in the state of Oregon in just 6 short hours.
Which is awesome.
Which is amazing.
I've worked
that
that
is
event.
the largest fundraiser in the country, actually, for food banks. And we also, this is our largest event as well in May. We have a few others that are going to be coming down the pipeline after that, but
How about
we
the
have
Blues Fest?
The Blues
Fest.
Fest,
You can't leave that one out.
You
It's like,
cannot leave that one out.
It's a tradition in Oregon. You're talking about the Blues Fest. You have to have that.
That's right. This year we'll be celebrating our 27th year.
27
down
years.
At the waterfront.
Wow.
From what I hear, we've got Greg Allman that's going to be coming, and I just heard that Boz Skaggs has been brought aboard.
Really? Okay.
Los Lobos, and a couple other really, really great acts that I remember from last year are going to be brought back again. Of course, you may all remember that Robert Plant came and graced us last year, and that helped us meet our $1 million mark.
Wow.
We'd never exceeded that fundraising goal at the Blues Festival before.
Is that a one-day event, or no? That's a several-day event.
It's a several-day event. This year it'll be a 4-day event.
Okay.
From July 3rd on Thursday until Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, there's another event that no one knows about.
A new event.
Okay. So before we go into too much details, I think we actually have a caller, which was really cool with the show. Is you do it live, you can have callers. So I understand that we have a caller on the phone. Who do we have on the phone? Is it Tim?
Yes.
Tim, are you there?
Hello?
Hi, Tim. How are you doing?
Yeah, am I on the studio here?
Yes, you are.
I can't hear you very well.
Your TV might be turned up too much, unfortunately.
I hear things, but it's real weak.
We can hear you.
We can hear you just fine. Do you have a question, or you'd like to make a statement?
Am I on live at the studio or not?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
You're fine.
Okay. I can't hear very well, but I don't need to. I'm just going to say that I'm calling in from Bozeman, Montana. We got about an inch of snow on the ground here today.
Wow.
And anyway, I just wish you guys a good show, and I'll be back hopefully for the June TV show.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for calling in. Stay warm.
Okay, you guys have a good show, and thanks for hosting for me. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Pretty
Bye-bye.
cool. You can call in.
You can call in. Yeah, this is a live
That's
live
really
program.
great.
This isn't.
Great.
That is
This is
great.
pre-recorded and edited later,
That's
as you'll see in my screw-ups occasionally. But no, that was funny, and it was from Bozeman, Montana. The
Love it.
gentleman normally hosts the show, so he was calling in to wish us the best of luck. I mean,
Oh, that's great.
don't know if he got snowed in.
Great.
Snow still.
Yeah, live shows are great as long as you know who's calling in. If you don't, sometimes you have to monitor it. So many shows I've worked on where you don't know who's calling. But
Sure.
so what we're doing is we're going to be talking about something that is brand spanking new. The public does not know about it yet. It's exciting, and everyone wants to know all the details about it. And we're almost to the point of telling the entire public,
Almost.
but we can give them some details.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, we are very, very excited at the Food Bank to be working in partnership with a whole new group of individuals to bring forward a brand new event. We're going to launch it in September, which is actually Hunger Action Month nationally. That's a wonderful element for the Food Bank because we have not done something big and splashy in September.
Right.
And it is called the Taste of Style.
Sounds good, doesn't
What
it?
could that be all about?
Well, tell us. I mean, I know.
You certainly do.
I know.
Yes, you sit on this wonderful planning committee of folks that are representatives from the fashion industry, from hair and makeup industries and entertainment industries that are going to come together and bring us not only a food and fun drive prior to the event leading up to September,
Right.
but an evening of amazing artistry, hunger messaging along with that. We really see this as being a very large party with a whole bunch of new folks that don't have a lot of experience with the food bank.
Right.
And we're hoping by the time that they leave, they're going to be asking, when is the next
one.
year's event?
Which, if we do our job right,
That's right.
we'll know before that event
That's
finishes
right.
that night.
Absolutely.
Right? Now,
Absolutely.
the entertainment industry being one of the key elements of this thing, because normally speaking, you have entertainers and you have music and such for like the blues festival,
Right.
and you have government employees, and you have all these different events that segment either a really, really small segmentation of our population or just open to the general public. There's not really a huge structure, just a love of music. But that's where the entertainment industry, which pointed to Tom because he's the executive director of the Oregon Media Production Association, which it's a trade association for entertainment. And so that's a new niche. Normally in Oregon, there's not much that happens on a nonprofit level that's actually designed to help someone other than the organization that's putting it on anyway, that is designed to help people. And then you've been in the industry for many years. I mean, do you know of any other event offhand that helps like this type of event for entertainment? Or
You're asking if there's entertainment industry events which
Something
raise
like
money
this.
for. Well, like you said, we when we're doing our fundraising with OMPA, we'll raise money, scholarship money for students, but
Right.
it's for students pursuing careers in media production. But no, I think you're right. Other than maybe Portland Teen Idol,
Sure.
our participation, I don't see a lot of participation yet.
which is why we went this route too. I mean, as she said, I'm on the planning committee, and my wife and a couple other colleagues are on that as well. And the idea was to take a little bit of a chapter that a New Hampshire food bank had done,
Yep.
and they were no longer able to continue with that because of whatever reason.
Staffing.
Who knows? Staffing.
Staffing.
Could be cost, it could be management. It's hard for non-entertainment people to put together an entertainment event. I mean, anyone that,
Absolutely.
it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're a tax consultant and you're going in, you're trying to learn how to do, crocheting, well, you might know how to do it, but you may not know, generally speaking. You want to get the people that know what they're doing. And I think that's what's going to help make this successful.
Yeah.
We have you from the East Coast,
That's right.
knows how to get things done.
You bet.
And won't take any bull.
That's right.
And you know what's important, and you
Yeah.
work with youth, which is an important part
And
of it.
from a food bank perspective, much like the point that you just made, this is an entire group of individuals that the food bank has not had an opportunity to reach out to as well.
Right.
So it's very, very attractive to us in food banking to, as I said, invite a whole new bunch of folks to be friends for the food bank.
Sure. So let's get a couple details on there regarding the Taste of Style. Now, there is a certain element that we're going to be giving out more details on later. Has
Sure.
to do with large numbers, and a lot of numbers, both from a children's side of it and from an NTC side. Tell us a little bit about what that is.
Leading up to the event, again, what makes this particular event very unique from some of our other partner events is that we're going to have a campaign going on from pretty much now
Right.
until September. I think we're going to do the cutoff at September 15th so we can calculate all those numbers you're speaking of. And we've got a campaign of 1 million pounds and 1 million meals.
So 2 million.
2 million. This is the New Yorker.
2
in me.
million. She's not aggressive. She's
No.
pushy. But that's okay. It's for good reason.
Yeah, and you know, part of this conversation we've had has been my experience working with young people. And we do have youth groups that do engage with us at the food bank as well. And I've seen what those groups have been able
Sure.
to accomplish in a very short period of time. As I said to you, if the letter carriers can do 1.3 million in 6 hours, your Teen Idol folks are going to be able to bring in 1 million pounds in 5.5 months.
Right.
I have no doubt.
No doubt.
I have worked so long with young people, and I know they will find food in places we never even imagined you would find food. And we're also going to help them with a toolkit and give them some guidance and some help. We're not going
Right.
to just leave them out on their own
Exactly.
to fend for themselves.
Right.
That's part of what we do well as also. So I think in partnership, we are going to make this very, very successful. The Million Meals campaign is going to engage a statewide entity, our salons, our spas, every industry that deals with cosmetics, hair, and the entertainment industry, to offer them the opportunity to donate $1, which equates to 3 meals.
Okay.
We can do that math, right? 5.5 months. We've got a lot of salons, we've got a lot of industry people here that we're going to open up the doors to opportunity to contribute. And again, I have no doubt in 5.5 months, I think we'll exceed the goal, quite frankly.
Which we hopefully we will, right?
You know, I've been doing events for a lot of years, and this one just really resonates with me and my sort of institutional knowledge in event planning.
So now, the key I think of this whole thing is that you have so many events where you show up with a single day, it's an auction, it's a fundraising dinner, it's whatever it is, and then all of a sudden you show up at a single day in time, and then all the money that you've raised from ticket sales and what have you all flush in from that one day. People show up if they buy auction items, if that's applicable, and at the end of the day, all of it comes out, you little stragglers here and there, but generally speaking, you do everything in a single day.
Correct.
Which obviously makes a limitation, right?
Yep.
An individual that might be able to give now, but they can't give in a month.
Exactly.
So if you're on that off month, then that event falls, then you're pretty much out of luck. So by making an event like this, where you have really 5 months of prep, plus you're doing ticket sales to bring the funding, that just makes it like a win-win-win, right? It gives you that opportunity to load the deck
Yep.
and then play your hand,
Yeah.
rather than just play the hand and wait till the cards fall, right?
Right.
And I'm very excited that Teen Idol is sort of like the flag bearer. We're not it's available for any teens in the Portland metro area or Vancouver. Anyone within our broadcast area can participate. You know, when it becomes available at teenidol.org, any teen can go on there. They can say, hey, I want to be a hunger warrior.
There you go.
I want to fight for other children. I want to get on this program. I want to help the other kids. Oregon is what, the #1 most hungriest kids or youth?
We're
What's
right
the
up there.
statistic?
Yeah, one in 5 children don't know where their next meal is going to come from.
And that's tragic.
That's
More than tragic.
unacceptable in this country.
I agree. And this is Oregon. This is Oregon. That's why when you pitched that to me, I'm like, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Even if we don't make it, which not even a real possibility, when you say that, when we make it, and all the teens participate, so all the kids that are part of the program now, your parents, your next door neighbors, your family that are in New York can make a donation online for their kid or for their grandchild or whatever, and that money translates into poundage, $1
Correct.
for 4 pounds, right?
Correct. Yep.
And so, yeah, everyone can do it. All they have to do is just make sure they go in and say, I'm donating this to Taste of Style. Can they do that right now? If they went down to the food bank and say, Taste of Style, here's my 20 pounds.
Absolutely.
Can you do that right now?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes,
so you
we
heard
can.
that. You heard it live.
Yep,
So if
absolutely.
you go down to any food bank location, now is it just Oregon Food Bank or is it partners too?
OregonFoodBank.org is probably going to be your best place online to go.
Okay.
Our facilities, both in Beaverton and in Portland, would be the most reasonable places to go
Okay.
to be able to keep the tracking. That's going to be a very important part of this effort. We want to make sure that all the folks that are participating are going to be getting credit for that, and that we're tracking that through these
Right.
next few months, because we're also going to be offering some incentives
Right.
for that work, correct?
Correct, and I'm actually ponying up $500 of my own for the student that raises the most poundage. And on top of that, the next 9 in line will actually be brought up on stage to be congratulated, provide a certificate, and a big thank you in front of the hundreds of people that will be at the event, and in front of everybody say, thank you for making a difference.
Absolutely.
And that's the key. One person, a teenager, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, doesn't matter, they can come in, they can make a positive change and difference in their community, and there's going to be kids out there hopefully that will say, hey, I want to do it, and raise 5 tons of food.
And there's another element that's very attractive to the food bank. Those are the folks that we also want to reach out to as our young people in our community. We don't have that kind of structure other than Project Second Wind where we're reaching out to young people.
Right.
So this is also extremely attractive from the food banking perspective.
Well, fantastic. Well, we're definitely looking forward to it. We are in, my Teen Idol program is in a lot of schools. Our first audition actually starts at Wilson High School at 6 o'clock. So we're excited that this year is going to be a banner year for us.
That's great.
English, Spanish, and now Russian and stand-up comedy.
Wonderful.
So, is there anything else you'd like to say before you go?
I would just like to offer an extra incentive as we begin to roll out Taste of Style, and that is, we talked about the Waterfront Blues Festival prior. We have VIP passes that we offer during that event as well, and we have 4-day passes that I would like to make available to your viewers if they donate online to OregonFoodBank.org. Donate now. And there's a section at the end of that donation form where they can fill out event Taste of Style.
Okay.
And we will put those names in a drawing and give out passes for 4-day passes for the Blues Festival this year. Just a little extra incentive.
Well, awesome. We'll make sure to write that information down as well.
Absolutely.
So I can let the viewers know later on if they want to go online. We'll be hopefully posting this online afterwards. So fantastic incentive. I mean, how much is that normally for
$80.
$80. So that's a $80 value for those Blues Festival people. Hopefully you take it seriously. I've worked it like 7 years, I think, over my entire time.
And I think you might even see some Taste of Style folks there as well, talking about the event in September.
Well, hopefully that's right. So
big
anything
hair.
else? Big hair there. Absolutely. Wait until you see the pictures.
That's
big
right.
hair. So, all right. Well, thank you very much, Marianne.
Thank you
we
so
appreciate
much.
you coming on today. And feel free, if you have anything else you want to share, let me know, of course, and I'll try to relay to our viewers. And next event opportunities we have, we'll maybe read a statement to help keep them apprised of what's going on.
Looking forward to seeing it grow now.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. So we got a little bit of break, so I'll talk for a few seconds about our teen program while Marianne leaves us. And so the important thing to remember, and here goes, there she goes, right there. Thing to remember about any kind of program is that participation is the #1 most important part of it, right? You have a lot of different things that happen at the school level, but there's only a few things that are happening at the actual area level, like in Portland metropolitan area. As you see on the screen, this is the Portland Teen Idol logo. It says Portland Teen Idol at teenidol.org. If you're a teenager, age 13 through 18, and you're in 7th to 12th grade right now, and you're a singer, English, Spanish, Russian, or you do stand-up comedy, or you think you might be, or your best friend tells you that you are, go online, fill out that really short form. We'll let you know when auditions are. You can actually audition at any location. It doesn't matter where it is, what school it's located at, unless it says closed, but most of the time they're open for anybody. Try out. If you don't think you got it, come out and prove it, right? You have a chance, you take the opportunity. You don't make it, but you at least tried. We had over 400 students in last year's program we're very excited about. They came from over 70 area schools in Oregon and Southwest Washington. This year, hopefully going to be bigger. So if you're interested, again, teenidol.org, go online, fill out that short form, show up at one of our auditions, and show us what you have. Now, one of our guests that we'll be talking to later today is actually somewhat related to people that have been involved into the program, and we'll go into that detail. But we're excited about some of the actual experiences that you can grow while you're a Teen Idol finalist. We actually have 2 people that did really well on American Idol. I'm assuming most of you have watched that program. So in 2012, we had one young lady by the name of Madison Shanley that made top 88. And then in 2013, just last year, Aubrey Cleland, which was our runner-up in 2009, made 11th place, which is really exciting. And of course, we have Jordan Thompson, which actually made top 25 at Nashville Star. So we have exciting people coming into our program. They're learning a lot. they're gaining confidence, they're gaining the experience so they can become professional performers if they want to. It's all good. So enough with that for a few minutes. Let's go ahead and talk to our next guest, Mr. Tom McFadden from the OMPA. Tom, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, thank you, and I'm excited to be here.
So tell us a little bit about the OMPA. What is the OMPA?
Well, the OMPA, it's a trade association. OMPA stands for the Oregon Media Production Association, and it is the crew, the freelancers, the small businesses, and the few large businesses that we have that cater to both commercial, film, television, and now video game and internet and interactive media production. So there's motion pictures involved. Oregon boasts a strong contingent of crew, services, vendors, and our job as the trade association is to help the industry function and meet the needs of our industry members, which primarily has to do with having as much work as possible for people.
Sure, the entertainment industry in Oregon has grown.
Sure, absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
Those that are paying attention at all about what's going on in the Portland area know that Leverage filmed here for numerous seasons.
Mm-hmm.
We have Grimm that's still filming.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Portlandia, that's been going on for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, my wife actually was the key hair for the first season for Portlandia, and she's worked on those other programs as well.
Yeah.
And then we've had Blue Like Jazz. We've had numerous different television programs, numerous different feature films. I think part of I think it was the first or second Twilight movies was actually filmed partly in Oregon.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
And so
the history goes back. I mean, there's hundreds of programs and in film and in television that have go back to the very early part of the 20th century. So right to the beginning of movies with the silent movie era. We had movies shot up in Oregon. Yeah, in Oregon, actually. Wow. Yeah, Buster Keaton movie called The General, a hugely important movie, considered one of the greatest movies of all time. Shot in Cottage Grove.
Cottage Grove,
yeah,
really?
1926. Yeah.
Which is about the same size now. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, but there's a phenomenal amount of production now compared to someplace like Los Angeles. Our production is much smaller.
Right.
But as the trade association, we do represent several thousand workers and several $100 million worth of production business that takes place in the state of Oregon.
Which is awesome.
So, yeah, it's great because it means that Oregon, it's a fantastic industry for Oregon to grow. We have unique advantages here. Primarily, it's our locations. It also has to do with our extremely excellent crew and the equipment vendors and the business services that have grown up around the industry.
And you can be in Portland, and if you're a film crew and you need to find a beach scene or a mountain scene or a river or desert, you can get all of that in Oregon within just a few hour drive. And so if you're a out-of-state production and you're thinking, well, where am I going to produce? There are some places that have the same amount of demographics, maybe not in the same time frame that we have, but we have no sales tax. We have good incentives through the Oregon Film Office. And we have great talent, like you just mentioned, a lot of projects up here.
Yeah, and a great history, and like I said, uniquely qualified with our fantastic locations.
Right.
The crew really knows what they're doing. Yep. We have high standards of excellence in Oregon. And as you mentioned, the industry has been growing. We've had a more concerted effort to recruit business into Oregon over the last 10 years, and in just 6 years, we've tripled the amount of projects that we're recruiting from out of state. Yeah, it's a fantastic improvement. Everybody who supports the trade association, we have about 1,000 individuals and freelancers of various types that are making contributions to help the trade association run. And every single one of them is doing that, not just for philanthropy like you might with the food bank, but because they want to know that they're growing an industry that's going to employ them and employ their families and employ their kids, whether they're actors or entertainers or directors or working behind the camera.
And so it's important because most industries have some type of trade association or several trade associations where they can actually go to get information about what's going on, because an individual or a company may not want to expend the time, energy, effort, or resources to find that out, where OMPA is one of the only ones. Is it the only real trade association for entertainment in Oregon?
In Oregon, we're the largest. Well, and I make a distinction. It's not just the entertainment aspect, because it's the whole production of the project. So it's both in front of the camera and behind the camera. It all falls into the vein of entertainment. So we are the largest trade association. There's regional groups like MOPAN in Eugene, which is a chapter of the of OMPA.
Right.
So we're in different communities. People are networking to make sure that they
Right.
know the other producers and directors and actors to get the job done. Yeah.
So this, hot off the presses.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I don't think anyone else has actually seen it before in the general public. So tell me what this is.
Well, one of the jobs of the trade association is to just simply collect the professional, the names and the contact information for the industry professionals, because unlike working for a huge company in Los Angeles, a Warner Brothers or you would have one company you work for and everybody's kind of on the same page.
Same team,
in Oregon, we have a lot of freelancers.
Right.
And when you see the credits roll for a movie or a TV show, you see hundreds and hundreds of names. All those people are coordinated. One of the ways that we do that is by publishing the industry directory. We call it Source Oregon. The 2014 version features Reese Witherspoon on the cover, in celebration of the movie that was just shot in Oregon. That tells the story. It's called Wild. It tells the story of walking the Pacific Crest Trail.
Okay.
So that was shot almost entirely in Oregon, taking advantage of all our unique looks and locations. And so this directory, Source Oregon, which is available online as well at sourceoregon.com, lists all the professionals that we know who are vetted to work professionally in the industry.
So am I in that book?
Absolutely, absolutely. All our best producers are, and every.
You call me a best producer.
I'll
write that down somewhere. Maybe mark the time on that. I'm gonna rewind that later.
Yeah. So this what keeps our industry connected.
Okay.
It's also the reason we publish it in this glossy magazine format, in addition to just the really easy to use website, is because we use this to talk to producers, directors, agencies, studios around the country and around the world who are regularly looking for places that have a unique look and a strong crew base. And this is one of the vehicles we use to let them know that we're qualified in Oregon.
Absolutely, because if you don't publish something, no one's going to know. You're the guest, and you IMDb a project that was shot there. Try to see if you can find out who was on it, and see if there's any names that ring a bell or have just complicated. Now, I have a unique perspective of the OMPA for many different reasons. My wife was originally a member of the program or the organization, and then as time went on, I said, you know what, this is a great organization. We don't have that much support for like my teen program for entertainment, and so I said, hey, would you like to be part of our program where we can help promote you and the organization and what you do for those people that might be interested? And so resounding yes. I helped volunteer with several different projects, and then now, last year I was asked to be on the board of directors, and then on February 28th, just last month, or month before I guess now, I was very fortunate to become one of the vice presidents of the OMPA. Very exciting for me. I have some big challenges ahead of me, trying to create a student chapter for those high school and college students that are interested in learning how to be a producer, director, or pretty much anything in the entertainment industry, and be able to get them into structured programs that are more for their level of competence, right? If they're students, they probably aren't professionals just yet, and so they want to have all that fun that everyone else is having, but not all the responsibility just yet. So I get to play with that, and we're also kicking around a few other projects. So give me an idea of some of the projects that the OMPA does throughout a year besides the directory.
Well, we do. We keep our members networked through various publications. We have a weekly post of events for networking, a weekly post of jobs and job listings. And then at least every month, we have a networking event both in our Eugene chapter and in our Portland chapter. There's lots of people who are entering this industry in Oregon. It's great because we have to support all these additional jobs that are coming to Oregon. So getting folks network, getting them to know each other. Like I said, we want to make sure that the industry's functioning and functional, and knowing the folks who you're working with is part of that battle. We host a few main events, one of which is coming up on July 11th. It's our big fundraising golf tournament at the Welch's at the Resort at the Mountain. July 11th, 7-Eleven.
OMPA Classic.
The OMPA Classic.
Okay.
Yep. And we support an event that's specifically geared towards actors called Oregon's Got Talent. That'll be on
Sure.
September 27th, where we treat Oregon's talent with the same respect and celebrity that you would be treating your actors in Los Angeles.
Right.
Yep.
So now, I've been involved with Oregon's Got Talent from the Portland Teen Idol side of it. We performed, a couple years in a row, and then last year we performed. One of our students performed. Plus, we had a workshop or a place where people can go around and talk to different trade associations. So definitely exciting if you're a talent, especially if you're an actor and you want to learn more information about your industry. I understand that SAG-AFTRA was there. Nathaniel Applefield, which is the other vice president of the OMPA, is the former executive director for the Oregon SAG-AFTRA. And we have a lot of people that are there to help guide you to where to go as being an actor, including agents, right? People that provide insurance for people that are doing that type of industry, a lot of different options.
Yeah, can I make a point about that too?
Absolutely.
Which is the one of the main reasons that we supported the development of Oregon's Got Talent is, as I said, we're a professional trade association. We welcome anybody to join the trade association. Absolutely anybody can make a contribution and be a member. The book itself, however, is strictly vetted for people with professional experience. And the reason that relates to Oregon's Got Talent, which is our actors-oriented event, is because there are people who are new to enter to the talent industry, to the acting industry, are more susceptible to maybe being taken advantage of by a non-reputable agency. So we wanted to make sure that everybody out there who's aspiring to be on TV, whether it's children or adults, is getting connected with the true professional industry that Oregon represents, and supporting those professional standards. Not to mention legal standards. Right. No, you shouldn't be paying your agent to get on to a TV show. The agent should be paying you when you get the job.
Exactly.
So these are basic things, and those types of things happen, especially as the industry gets more active. And we just don't want people to fall prey to unprofessional practices.
Sure, and it happens, right, where you go and you spend an exorbitant amount of money to an agency to train you. Now, training is expensive. It can be.
Acting is not an inexpensive profession. Definitely. I don't mean to say that you shouldn't be paying for workshops or trainers.
Absolutely. Just like
your
going to
agent, what typically will happen is someone will say, "Hey, I'm an agent. I want to represent you." Well, if they are an agent, then they're getting paid by booking you. But they'll say, "Hey, I'm an agent, but you're required to pay to take my class, or to take this, or to take that." That should be your option to take the classes, but not a requirement to be.
Exactly. And because it's a pay to play, basically. You're saying, if you pay us to teach you what you already know, then we'll represent you, so you can possibly in the future make money, of which we're going to take part of anyway. Which, if that's an industry standard, that gets us somewhat relatively, like a bank that charges an NSF fees for a $35 fee for $5 to be lent for one day. Write that up on what percentage that is. Same type of thing, but you're right. If you are a professional in whatever you're doing, you should not have to pay someone else to provide that expertise. They should be paying you to do those expertise.
Well, and to book the job. An agent's job is to book
the
talent, and when they book you the job, then that's how they get paid. So this is all wrapped up in our event called Oregon's Got Talent. It's on September 27th. There will be workshops during the day, again, to help educate people on professional business practices, whether they're new to the industry or whether they're established. And then it ends with an awards show for actors, which is the most exciting part.
Exactly. And we had Senator Burdick, last year that was attending.
Yeah, Senator Ginny Burdick.
So we have a lot of people that are part of the Oregon Film Office and or with the Oregon government that is 100% supportive of all the different things that happen. And again, this is infotainment, right? This is talking about information as it relates to entertainment. And that's all this is about, is understanding how much information is really out there. And Teen Idol obviously has played a part in that, and we want to increase that part that we play going forward.
The Portland Teen Idol, but the singers and entertainers have been extremely entertaining and valuable part of that program. You mentioned the Senator Burdick, the President Pro Tem of the Oregon Senate. One of the jobs, you had asked what our programs are, one of them is to advocate for the industry and raise awareness both in city policy to make sure that we're not being an obstruction to doing business, or that the city policies are not an
We
obstruction
actually,
to doing
we
business.
wouldn't be, I don't think.
And in state policy and municipal policy, so that we know that we're removing any barriers to doing business in Oregon. And we have incredible support through the Oregon legislature. They have a generous yet conservatively apportioned program for incentivizing certain projects to relocate to Oregon. So pretty much everybody we talk to supports the industry. It's just a matter of having that conversation and having the bell go off in their head where they say, oh, it's not just a LA thing. We're actually, these are Oregonians who are working on these projects.
Right, and we have many different people that are here in Portland that are well-known celebrities. Don't need to go through the list, but they're here. They live here. Some of them don't actually want to let people know they live here, but they do because they love the place.
And hundreds, if not thousands, of non-celebrities who are it's just their job. They go and they operate a camera, or they push a dolly, or they are driving the car. You know, the TV show Grimm that we know on NBC. They employ dozens of people just to take care of the plants on that show, because there's lush greenery all through those sets. And so there's actually dozens of people. They're called greensmen. Who take care of the plants and make sure that they're looking good and proper on set, just like an actor is. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just like a business, like any other business. I mean, if you're doing loan perfection, you want to make sure the income is done. You want to make sure their taxes are done. All the different areas of their financial portfolio, so when they encumber their loan, they can afford it long term. No different than a film. You want to make sure that all your pieces are there.
Lots of
looks the
specialists.
best. A lot of specialists, specialists, which is funny because a lot of the specialists do 2 or 3 things, but they're special. And
they are
really
specialists, yeah, for sure, absolutely. So I'm proud to be able to raise awareness on the show about what we're doing, and because that's one of our main jobs, is to raise awareness about the cultural value, the tourism value, the economic value, the jobs and business opportunities that this industry brings.
So basically, you're a trade association, you're a watchdog group, consumer affairs, and you're a school or educational program.
Well, a bit of
all of it, right? At the same time, and trade association, pretty much under the umbrella. Well, thank you very much, Tom. Is there anything else you'd like to, throw out to the audience before we go to our next guest?
Yeah, like I said, I'm just excited to be here, and and our industry members. You mentioned the celebrities. Well, most of the folks working on a commercial, film, television show, web video, are not big-time celebrities, but it's their job. They're proud to do it. Right. You might be, they might be, next to you in the shopping mart, in the line at the grocery store, and you didn't know that they work on Grimm by day. I think that people in our industry just don't see it as glamorous. They see it as a job, and a really good job. Right. Pays above average. And there's great diversity in the industry. So it's nice to be able to tell your audience about the great opportunities that the media production industry brings to Oregon.
Yep, and I take advantage of it. And my wife is a celebrity makeup artist and hairstylist. Has worked with the president, first lady, and pretty much everyone else. I mean, if you want a professional job, you need to talk to a professional about doing it. And that's the key to the organization, right? Is to get that professional into the job you need them for, and the key is to getting the person that will do the job and do it well, not just this person that has a title. Yeah. Because sometimes in this industry, it could be hard to distinguish the difference between those two.
If people wanted to know more, if people wanted to hire those professionals, they'd go to our directory, which is sourceoregon.com.
Gotcha.
If they want to know more about the trade association, it's ompa.org. That's Oregon Media Production Association, ompa.org. Our directory is on that site as well, obviously.
Okay.
Linked.
Well, thank you very much, Tom. Appreciate your time. I might pick your brain a little bit later.
Sure.
So now I want to go to our third guest, definitely one of our exciting guests. Have you been on television before?
Have not.
You have not. So this is your opportunity to be on television. So our third guest, actually, her name is Jen Russian. She is the event director for Portland Teen Idol, amongst other things. She's very talented. And you've been around the Teen Idol program for many years. And you know both Aubrey and Madison that we spoke of, because that was the year that you went through the program, right?
Yes, 2009.
2009.
Season 3, we had Aubrey and Maddie on there.
Okay.
It was great.
Yeah, and so tell us about your experience a little bit, about just when you first said, I heard about Teen Idol, the process, and then the tour. What did you learn through that process, or what was your experience?
Well, I saw a banner hanging up at a restaurant, and it said, apply to Portland Teen Idol, and I was like, can I sing? To all my friends, they're like, yes. And I've previously wanted to hide it. I was so shy. I'd only sing when everyone was out of the house. And then finally I went and auditioned, and I got through one round, and is this life? I was just so confused, and I was 14 at the time. I was a freshman in high school.
Right.
And then after, the first round, and then came quarterfinals, and I was saying, oh, I'm good, but I won't get past this. I'm okay, I won't. And then I got past. And, semifinals, and then I reached the finale, and I became a finalist. And it's just an amazing experience to go through. It really helps your self-confidence when you're young and you're a teen, and especially when in your younger years and you don't know how your future is going to be in the entertainment business. It really does help to know that there are people out there who believe in you. There's people in the entertainment business who believe in your talent, locally, and it was a great experience. And afterwards, the finalists, there were 12 of us, we went on tour throughout Oregon, and we performed at the Rose Festival and the Damascus City Fair.
Pretty close. Damascus Days.
Yeah.
Right.
And we also performed in front of the movies in the parks, which is still going on now for Portland Parks and Recreation.
Yep.
So it's just a really great opportunity for me. I'd go back 1,000 times if I could.
So your year ends, and you're done with your tour.
Mm-hmm.
What happens?
Well, afterwards, you still have a lot of support for the Portland Teen Idol family. I mean, I was invited back to sing at other future years at their concert tours. I was invited back to volunteer as a judge, and now I'm back as the event director. So it's a really involved Portland Teen Idol family. But between those times, I grew all that self-confidence. I grew I honed my talent. I got a lot of great constructive criticism, and I auditioned for every school musical, auditioned for every choir, the top choir. I got into the top choir at my high school, and if it wasn't for Portland Teen Idol, I wouldn't have done that. I would have still been singing alone in my house and closing all the windows and making sure no one else was home.
Right.
So it's just, there's as much effort as you want to put into it.
Right.
Once you have the skills, once you have the experience, pretty much you can do what you want.
So when you're going through the tour, you weren't singing in school, so you didn't have that necessary school experience that a lot of singers have, but that's the difference between a performer and a singer.
Yes.
Anyone can sing, whether it's good or bad, but not everyone can perform either. That's a trained activity. It's like any other education. You need to learn how to ride your bike well before you go onto a BMX court, right?
Yes.
So the thing that I love seeing as the director of Teen Idol and really the owner of the program is looking at the students when they first come through the finale. They have won whatever title, or they're a finalist, which is just as valuable as winning a title, in my opinion. I mean, the winner just has to do more work. It doesn't matter who you are, you still have the ability to go forward and move forward in our program and in life in general, regardless of where you place. I mean, we had one student that was a semi-finalist in 2012. She went back, she worked on herself and worked on her music, and then tried out for another program and won it. Not because necessarily that she didn't deserve to go further in our program, although she was up against students from 60 schools that year. So it was a big, it was a big pool. It wasn't just like 25 kids and you happen to be the best of the 25, but it was up against hundreds, so it's a big difference. But because she took the time and said, you know what, I'm not going to let this little setback stop me from going forward to my dream. I'm going to continue to work on it and move forward. This last year is a good prime example. We have Kendra Jenkins. She tried out 2 years ago. She made it to the semifinals, did not make it to the finale. She was clearly bummed. The next year, she didn't even try out at all. We have a policy that says if you've gotten to a semifinalist, you don't even have to try out again. What's the point, right? The purpose of an audition, can you sing? Clearly, she can sing, right? So all you do is come in, show up. That's all you have to do, and you can compete for the year. She didn't want to do it. She lost the drive or the energy, what have you. And then last year was like, she's a senior. I know this because it's on her application. I want to convince them to take one last shot at it. Talked to her. She came on. She ended up being in the finalist, and she blew away a lot of people with a lot of her presentation. She unfortunately at the finale was sick. I mean, she was hospitalized like 2 days beforehand.
You couldn't tell. I was there.
Exactly. So you couldn't even tell, but at the same time, that could have held her back just a tiny bit. But she did not give up on her dream. She went forward with it with a lot of adversity for her, And she just said, you know what, I don't care what's going on around me. I want my life to be what I want it to be. And so for our other students that are out there that may have already given up, we hope they say, you know what, I do have another shot or maybe 2 shots. I'm just going to go for it. And like I said earlier, we have Spanish and Russian and stand-up comedy. You know, when you first found out that we had Spanish, which is the first time when you came back into the program, what did you think about that we provided Spanish programming?
I thought it was great. I thought, there's just a lot of Spanish-speaking people in Portland, and a lot of teenagers, a lot of communities, and to be able to connect to those communities, and now the Russian community, and I think it's just really great, and it's an opportunity that if you can sing and speak Spanish, sing in Spanish, that you should really take up on, because it's the Portland Teen Idol program that I know and love in Spanish.
Right.
So it's great. It's another great opportunity.
And so last year, and again coming up this year, the week of 4th of July, there is a Spanish-only program for the movies in the parks that the city does. And so the previous winners and the new winner for this season, which will be determined before the English one probably, because of the program is smaller, unless we have a lot of people try out, which would be awesome, but the number is usually smaller. Those people will go and they'll perform solely in Spanish. Unless we don't have enough time, then they might do a couple English songs, but they're pandering to an actual Spanish crowd. And then this year, trying to get Russian in there will be kind of exciting. I do my fake impression that I know how to speak Russian, but I knew a couple phrases. I have a better accent than I do actually know how to speak it. But it's because it's unique, it's different, it's interesting. And I'm on the board of directors of a minority organization, and the Spanish segment is not covered. But other areas are, but not Spanish. And so I'm able to provide that for a different demographic. And knowing this also in the entertainment industry, you see that disconnect there too. If you're doing a Spanish program, you're only working with Spanish people. If you're an English program, you're only working with English people. Or Russian, same thing. You don't do a lot of crosswork unless they can speak English really well or they can speak that language really well. I'm trying to break down that gap a little bit, not trying to take away the traditions. I really want people that have the ability to learn a foreign language, especially if it's spoken in their household, to keep that. I want you to work on that and develop it and have that second language. If it's not necessarily applicable in what you do, so what? So what? It's a credit to you. It's something you put on your resume. We even have long-term goals. You can go to Indian reservations and have, foreign languages that are almost extinct. Give them opportunities to be able to practice that and have it come back and be more public and be out in the open and try to make it so that it doesn't go away. I want the culture to flourish, with what I can do. I mean, I'm one person. We have, board of directors for the foundation now, and we have a lot of people helping with the Teen Idol program. We had over 500 people, including the students last year, which is awesome, but that's still not enough to change the world. But we're trying it one space at a time, right? So you're the event director. What does that director job do? What is your goal right now? What are you doing right now?
My goal is to book as many auditions as possible. If your school or if you frequent a community center, and just email me, Jen Russian at portlandteenidol.com, and I'll set up an audition, and we can get those teens in your area or in your school set up to audition. And so that's what I do. That's what I'm doing now. It's my main priority, and I'm also scheduling the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the finale. So I'm responsible of pretty much making sure everything is complete and set for those.
Right. And it's mostly the dates, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
dates and times.
The actual production stuff, the finale last year, we had 350 audience members, standing room only, which was really nice to have, to fill everything, all the space we had. We were rocking 5 cameras. We had 55 staff members, including 18 people doing hair and makeup. Yeah, just hair and makeup, 18 people. So we're really excited about having a program that is really in production value, one of the bigger programs in the city. And based on what we do afterwards, we go on tour. We have the Oregon Women's Convention this year. We have the Taste of Style event that's brand new that we're going to be performing at. We have the Oregon's Got Talent that we're probably going to be back at. We have the Oregon State Fair that my company's actually helped sponsor and provide support for their talent program as well as performing. And our Teen Idol winner will typically probably MC one of their competition rounds. So very exciting for a lot of different things that we're doing for the teens in our community. And then as we move into next year, we'll have some other exciting news to roll out that we've been working on now that we're going to officially launch on the finale date, which right now is set for June 14th. Hopefully that stays that date. Sometimes things move in this industry. If you don't have a venue, you need to move it, right? But we'll try to make it work that day. But I can tell you you're doing a great job. I get a
Thank
lot
you.
of phone calls and a lot of emails. We have at least 3 schools that are completely locked down, probably even more now that I haven't talked to you in at least a couple hours. We have Dexter McCarty, we have Lane, we have Wilson, and I know we're going to have several Parks locations as well. And we're looking for places in Vancouver too. So if you're a Vancouverite and you're not watching, CCTV up there in Vancouver, you're watching TVC TV or you're watching a playback, we're willing to go up in Vancouver. It's part of our service area. We have 2 or 3 students a year that come in from Vancouver, but that's just a small number, right? But so any other exciting points for anyone that might be watching for teens that maybe like on the fence or say, well, I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I look right for the part. Any advice for them?
Audition. Just go and do it. If you like singing, and even if you don't know if you want to do it professionally, if you love singing, people are going to want to hear you. They're going to want to hear that love in your voice when you're singing and you're the happiest, that you are.
Right.
And also this program, you're surrounded by kids around your age who also love it. And so you have this network and you make friends and you are able to discover things about your talent that you didn't know existed. Other teenagers in the program can help, and they just assist each other. And
right.
It's not a scary experience. All the judges are nice. We have no Simons.
Right.
We give only constructive criticism if we give criticism if you need it. We just have a lot of really good vibes in the program. And if you're nervous about auditioning, don't be, because it's actually a fun experience as far as auditions go. Auditions can be pretty scary, but Portland Teen Idol is just it's a really comfortable setting, and everyone who's a part of it loves being a part of it.
And one of the things you said that is key is you watch some of these auditions on television and such, and you stand up on a stage in front of hundreds of people and all this high pressure and such. We don't do that. We have a waiting room for people to wait for you to be done. You go into a room where it's just you, the judge, as a camera person, and your chaperone, whoever brought you into the room. And if you're under a certain age, you can have a parent or friend in there with you. And it's just a very small, it's designed for you to feel comfortable. It's designed for your very first potential audition experience to be the best one you've ever had, so you come back, even if it's not with our program, with any program. I mean, yeah, we want to sell what we want to do, as a nonprofit, but more importantly is to develop a teen in their education. We don't care if you succeed with us or someone else. We want you to succeed. That's the key. And we try to run that lines too. If it's not educational, it's not beneficial, then we're either not doing it or shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. And so far we've been able to weed out all those little misconceptions. I've helped with over 500 public access television shows like this, and so I have a lot of experience in television. I help raise millions of dollars for various events all across the United States, but mostly here in Oregon. And so I know what's valuable to the students. I know what's valuable to communities. And if you're a teen and you're interested in trying something, it doesn't even have to be singing. It doesn't have to be even stand-up. And we have a huge volunteer program. Over half of our students are actually not even singing or trying out to be singers. There are people that say, well, you know what, I have no singing ability whatsoever, but I know how to use Facebook. I can tell my friends to go try out. I can bug my next door neighbor I know that knows how to sing. I can talk to my parents about doing this fundraising thing or food raising thing for the Oregon Food Bank's Taste of Style program. I can do all these things regardless of whether I'm a singer or not, whether I think I'm good enough or not. And we had an intern program last year. We ran into some snags with making sure that the students got the full benefit out of it, so we postponed that till next year. But if you want to show up and you want to learn how to run a camera, you want to learn how to be a director or whatever, on a case-by-case basis, we'll be willing to accept anybody that wants to put in 4 or more hours of time, whether it be a single day, working from home. You don't even have to necessarily go anywhere to help out. And adults, same thing. Adults can try out, but they're by helping or judging. You got a music experience and music background, have at it. Yeah. We're an all novice program as far as the students are concerned in a competition. So if you're a professional or you have an album out or you perform in public for money or if you've won other programs, go somewhere else that's higher up than where you're at. Because this is a program, an opportunity for students that maybe never have even tried out before to get that experience, to cut their teeth. I want them to come in there and be so scared that they barely even can stand up on their own power when they start singing their audition, and then by the time the season is over with, they run the stage like they just bought the thing and it's theirs. And I see that
All the
every
time.
single day. I mean, Emily Brady, that was last year's winner, you know, cute little thing, but she has an awesome voice. And when she first started out, she was quiet, she was reserved. And then, you know, by the time the Amy Roloff event came around and she was performing on stage with this beautiful gown, she clearly had it full lockdown.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if, again, if you're a singer in choir or if you've never done singing before, it's the public interaction experience. That'll help them for their job interviews, getting, you know, any job to do. I mean, with very few exceptions, especially entertainment, you don't have to be a singer. You don't have to be a stand-up comic. But, you know, even with our stand-up comic, when we had Alex Milston that came in, he was able to not only perform for the public, but then also go to comedy clubs. We took him to the comedy clubs he can get into and let him perform in front of a real comic audience. I mean, that's a great experience. We have the comic cop. We have, Mr. Halliburton, that Willie, he's always interested in helping out. And we have, you know, Osborne and a couple other, you know, people that are in town that are willing to help out. And even Dante, when he was here last, said, you know what, you have something going on while I'm here, let me know ahead of time and I'll see if we can schedule things. You know, so we have a huge network. We're trying to build it. Again, like you mentioned earlier, if you have a venue that you have available, you think you have kids that might be interested in it, you know, try out for the kids and for the adults. You know, same form is used for everything. So fill it out, say volunteer, I have space. I want to provide opportunity. And then probably by tomorrow, you'll be able to sign up to actually be, you know, one of our Hunger Warriors for the Taste of Style event to the same page. So if that's all you select, I'm a Hunger Warrior, that's the only thing you do, so be it. You're still helping other youth, you're still helping yourself by taking a lead in what your cause is, and this is helping other students, and it may even be you. You know, if you're a student out there and you're not, you know, you have every single day you're fighting for food and you're trying to decide how much you're going to hold away for tomorrow when you might not have any, you'd be the ones that step up and say, you know what, I have no food, I have no money, I barely even have a place to live, I live somewhere else, but I can help raise food for myself and others. It doesn't take anything, it's free, we don't charge for anything, you know, so. Well, great. We're running down our time. We have like 2 minutes left. I want to thank you guys very much for coming on. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about related to Teen Idol, performing, auditioning, you know, anything?
Mostly just, you know, check out our website and audition. I'll just say it over and over again: audition, audition, audition. It's the worst that can happen is we ask you to come back next year. And that happens sometimes. And people who come back the next year go really far.
And something to go with that too. You can watch American Idol, The Voice, and all these other shows and listen to the song that you want to sing for an audition.
Yeah.
All right, here's a little tip. Okay, watch what they're wearing, watch how they interact with the judges, see how they talk. When you show up to an audition, whomever it is, make sure you understand the rules and what you need to do and how long you need to do it, because you get penalized sometimes if you go over. And make sure you act, dress, and sound like the people you saw on TV. If they did well in those shows, you're going to do well in our program. That's just a fact, because that is part of education. There's just not enough conditioning for that.
Yeah.
You know, and now for the OMPA, there's not as much focus on the actual singing, performing, music side of entertainment, but a lot of it on acting.
Yep.
So I would be interested to see how things pan out in the next year or so, maybe with some ambitious board members that might want to come up with some kind of a program or a project that includes singing in music. So with that, folks, we're pretty much out of time. I want to make sure everyone is thanked very much for tuning in to us, and hopefully we can replay this again. And my name is Dennis Gleason with Tom and Jen. Thank you very much for watching.
Thanks.